WordPress plugins are bits of software that can be uploaded to extend and expand the functionality of your WordPress website. Since WordPress is open source software, these are all third-party tools that add on to what WordPress can do, and they're very easy to download and install. Plugins can do things like improve your search engine optimization, display related posts in your sidebar, do complete backups of your WordPress site, or even create forms quickly and easily. You can add just about any functionality to WordPress with plugins. The WordPress plugin directory that I'll show you is a repository of free plugins that have been vetted. There are currently more than 54,000 plugins in the WordPress directory, so there's a lot of options. Now, just like themes, there are free and premium or paid plugins. Again, with the premium plugins, you are paying for the more reliable code and technical support. Paid plugins usually offer a full-time support staff and developers that work on maintaining the security and compatibility of plugins with the latest version of WordPress, as well as other themes and plugins. Most of the time, plugins play very nicely with the core of WordPress and with other plugins, but sometimes a plugin's code might get in the way of another plugin, causing compatibility issues. With a premium plugin, it's just nice to know you have support staff that can help you if anything goes wrong. Now, I'd like to recommend a few plugins. Don't worry about taking notes. You can find a list of these with their features in your worksheet download for this lesson. The first is WP Forms. Every website needs a contact form because it makes it easy for your visitors to get in touch with you. WP Forms is the most user-friendly contact form plugin for WordPress. This drag-and-drop online form builder allows you to easily create contact forms, email subscription forms, online order forms, payment forms, surveys, polls, and basically any other type of online form with just a few clicks. You can start with the free WP Forms Lite version for a simple solution. Monster Insights is the best Google Analytics plugin for WordPress. It allows you to properly connect your website with Google Analytics so you can see exactly how people find and use your website. The best part is that it shows you all the important stats that matter right inside your WordPress dashboard. You can then optimize your website accordingly to increase your traffic, subscribers, and revenue. Again, there's a free version of this plugin to get you started. Yoast SEO. Search engine optimization helps you get more visitors from search engines to your website. While WordPress is SEO friendly out of the box, there is so much more you can do to increase your website traffic using best practices. Yoast SEO is one of the most popular WordPress plugins of all time. Out of all the WordPress SEO plugins, Yoast offers the most comprehensive solution with all the features and tools you need to improve your on-page SEO. It helps you add meta tags, generate sitemaps, and connect your site to Google Search Console, and optimize it for social media. And I'll actually be showing you how Yoast SEO works in the lesson on posts. And again, there's a free version in addition to a premium. Finally, Updraft Plus is the most popular WordPress backend plugin on the market. It allows you to set up automatic backups and safely store them on a remote location. It also makes it super easy to restore your website from a backup. Their base plugin is free, but they also have a paid plan with extra features and priority support. Now let's take a look at how to find, install, and activate these plugins. Now here we are on the back end of the site or on the WordPress dashboard, and we're going to take a look at the left side navigation. You notice there's something that says updates and plugins that have a circle, a red circle with a number 1 in it, and that lets you know that there's one update. And it's specific to plugins is the reason why it's down here. This site actually already has a few plugins that I'll go through with you already installed. Let's go ahead and just click on plugins. We're not going to choose any of these three things. We're just going to click on the word plugins. And what this lets you know up here is that there are 9 plugins on the site. 7 of them are active, 2 are inactive. 1 is recently active, 1 has an update, and 4 are considered must-use. So let's do the update version first. Right here you see it's Bluehost because we're using Bluehost for our web hosting. And it integrates your WordPress site with the Bluehost control panel. So that's a pretty important one. It's already been activated. You know that because if it hasn't been, like this one hasn't been activated, it says the word activate or delete. This one has already been activated. That's why your only option is to deactivate it. If you deactivate it, then you have these two options up here. But we're going to say update now. Now when you first come to the plugin section here, you will actually see that some plugins were already installed on your WordPress site. Some of them come bundled with WordPress installation. And this is one example, Akismet. And this actually helps protect your blog from spam. Keeps your site protected while you sleep. So to get started, you just activate the plugin and then you go to your settings to set up your API key. So let me show you how that works. You just click on the word activate, and then up here you have this box, set up your Akismet account. So this says that you are already connected via Jetpack. Jetpack was something else that came bundled with your WordPress site. So you can just click connect with Jetpack, and it's going to ask you to pick one, and you can see there's name your price, plus, and enterprise. So let's say name your price, because in this case you can put the price down to 0. You just complete those blocks and then you're saying that your site is not commercial. If it is commercial, you have to choose one of their commercial plans, which means that you would actually pay for it. It would be a premium product. And then you can see it actually gives you an API key. You're going to want to save that. Here it tells you that it's free and you can upgrade if you need to. So if you decide to monetize later, because at this point we chose that it wasn't monetized, and then you choose to monetize, you would upgrade to a business site. Now when we went to this, it actually opened up another window on our browser. So we're going to go back to the WordPress site, scroll down here, and you see that there's an API key. You can put that API key that they gave you in and then just say connect with that. And it tells you that it is now protecting your site from spam. They do have some options here, most plugins do. So if you wanted to know the number of approved comments beside each person that made a comment, you would click that. If you want to put it in the spam folder for review, you can do that. That's the default, or you could just say, just get rid of it, I don't care. It's your choice. And if you want to put a privacy notice, that's the default as well. So we're just going to save the changes, and that plugin is all set. So let's go back to plugins. So we have Akismet is now activated. Another one I told you about was Google Analytics for WordPress by Monster Insights. That one has been activated. Let's find one that's not on here yet. I have put WP Forms, it's been activated, and Yoast SEO, it's also been activated. But you know, I don't have the Updraft Plus. So let me show you that process, and you can use that same process to add these other ones that I told you about, like Yoast SEO, WP Form Lights, and the Monster Insights. You'll follow the same exact process. Now quickly, before we click on Add New and add it, I do want to show you over on the WordPress.org.site. Sometimes it's just easier to look for things there just because for me it's a bigger screen and I can see all of the different information that is included in it. So here is plugins. This is the same place we search for themes. Let's say Updraft Plus. You see right now they have 55,000 total plugins. Here's the one I mentioned to you, Updraft Plus. It has more than 2 million active installations. It's been tested with the latest version of WordPress. It has this many reviews. Let's go ahead and click on it. So if you see, it does get updated regularly. These are all things to look at when you're trying to decide what you want to add to your website. You can look at support, and see what types of topics have come up and read some of the question. Like here was one that came up only an hour ago. Someone couldn't complete the backup, so they got a response. These are types of things that you can look at to give you an idea of what type of support is occurring with this plugin. Notice there's even a video here for you to watch. It's probably just a little promo. So here, if you look at ratings, you see 5 stars mostly. There are some lower ratings. If you wanted to read about them, you could. I say that, you know, no one, you can't make 100% of the people happy, and I feel pretty confident with this, so I'm going to go ahead and upload it on my website. Now you see it did have an option here to download, but we don't have to do that with Bluehost. We can just come here and click Add New, here or here. So when I click Add New, all of these featured plugins come up. I'm going to try to search for Updraft Plus. And here it is. So if I clicked more details, that would take me over to the WordPress.org page that I showed you a minute ago. Let's go ahead and click Install Now. The next thing that comes up is you need to activate it. If I was not to activate it and just clicked back to see my list of plugins, it would come up on the list, but it would have the word activate underneath it. But let's go ahead and just follow the process and activate it now. Now what's happened is it has taken us to our list of plugins. Again, you see the little note here that you have something that needs to be updated, and that's because Updraft Plus actually needs to be set up. So it tells you right here, you can click here to start, and it's going to walk us through the process of actually setting it up for our website. And you will follow this same process to install your Monster Insights, your Yoast SEO, and your WP Forms Lite version. Updraft Plus is actually doing backups for us so that we don't lose anything on our website if anything happens. So this tells you, okay, it wants you to do your first backup now. Sure, why not? Ask you what you want to include inside your backup. And it tells you that if you want to avoid server-wide threats, back up regularly to remote cloud storage settings, cloud storage in settings. So if you wanted to take a look at that, you would just go to settings. And you can see those down here. We now have Updraft Plus Backups is now in our menu. Now remember this up here was where you had announcements. Now there's one from Updraft Plus. To make a backup, just press the backup button. We already did that, so we're just going to close it. So one last thing about those updates, it's always important to keep your plugins updated because the updates provide new security or new features, the support that we saw when people have problems and they have to fix glitches, and if you're not updated, you don't have the latest and greatest, so your plugins might not work well. Another thing is if you have any plugins when you go down your list that you're not using, you need to go ahead and delete those. So often, like this is Share Buttons by Add This, it's not activated. So if we're not using it, then just go ahead and delete it because there's no reason to keep extra things on your control panel here that you're not interested in. So go ahead and look at the handout. It has the instructions again for how you go through the process of adding and installing and activating plugins. It also has the list of recommended plugins. Finish uploading those plugins onto your website, and then we'll move on to the next lesson, which is widgets.